Hello, math nerds. This is Math 0028, Section 2.2 U-Tries. And off we go. Alright, so on this first slide, we've got some exponents, and the hard part on these is the signs. So if you look at letter A, what you're being asked to square there is -4. So when you work this out, you're going to multiply -4 times -4, which gives you a positive 16. Not too bad. B and D, those are the ones that are hard, especially B. This is not a -4. If it was a -4, it would be in parentheses. So this is read as the opposite of 4 squared. So what you do is you put the opposite sign out front and you have 4 times 4, because that's what you're squaring, is just a 4, not a -4. Now, one thing you can do to help you is put a 1 in front of those parentheses. So what you have is -1 times 16, 4 times 4, and that gives you a -16. Now, one thing that you can do is you can basically memorize this rule. If there are no parentheses, okay, and you've got this opposite sign, no parentheses, the answer is always negative, all the time, no matter what. It doesn't matter what the base is, like the 4, it doesn't matter what that is. It doesn't matter what the exponent is, because it's an opposite of a positive all the time, which is always going to be negative. So if you can look at that and say, hey, like on D down here, no parentheses, I'm just going to bring that negative over into my answer, and it's always going to be negative, no matter what. All right, so let's look at C. Here it's in parentheses, so I have to multiply -4 by itself 3 times. So 3 negatives is going to give me a negative, and 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 would be 64. So I get -64. On letter D, again, it's the opposite of 4 to the third. Okay, so this is the long way. You can put that 1 there in front, and so you would have -1 times 64 would give you -64. Or, like I said back up there on B, if you look at B and D without the parentheses, you can just automatically put that negative sign in your answer, and it's always going to be a negative no matter what. Now, on E and F, we're looking at multiplying. So the rule that you want to remember for exponents here is if the operation is multiplication, you're going to add your exponents. Okay? So you're going to add the exponents. Alright, so on letter E, we have x squared and x to the 5th. You add those, that's going to give you x to the 7th. And on the y's, 4 plus 3 would be y to the 7th. So there's the answer for E. Now on F, the way that I do these is I work the whole thing at one time. I work all the way straight across. So the first thing I'm going to do is just multiply the coefficients, the big numbers out front. So you have -2 times 3, that would be -6, and then -6 times -5 gives me a positive 30. So I like to work it all the way across. Some people like to do the first 2 terms and get that answer and then do that times the last one, but it's really weird. People get things, they get it wrong when they do that. I don't know why. So usually if they do the whole thing at one time, it's usually better. Now look at all the x's. On the first one I have x squared, and on the second one, remember that exponent's a 1, so 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 3 more from the last one, it's going to be x to the 6. And now we're going to add the y's. So I have 3 and 1 in the middle. 3 plus 1 is 4. Plus 4 on the last one gives me y to the 8th. And there's your answer. Okay, G and H, these are division problems. So if it's division, the rule for exponents is you subtract. Okay, so you're going to subtract the exponents. So on letter G here, you have 5 on the y, and remember a 1 underneath. So if you subtract, that's going to be y to the 4th. And then on the Z, z to the 6 and subtract the 3, that's going to be z to the third. Okay? Now, on H, what you have, you can't divide 18 by 27, but you can reduce both of those by 9. 9 will go into both 18 and 27, so that would give you -2 thirds. Okay? Now, you're going to subtract the exponents on the variables. So 5 minus 1 is a to the fourth. That's going to be on top, or at this point, since we haven't really talked about top and bottom of fractions, you can also type it into WebAssign just out beside the fraction itself. Okay? And then 7 minus 4 on the B would be b to the third. So right now, if you write -2 thirds, a to the fourth, and b to the third, that's a perfectly good answer. Or you can keep those, the a and the b, up on top with the -2. It will make a big difference when we get into section 2.4 as to where the variables go. Okay, but for right now, that should be it for 2.2.